Hello everybody, let's talk about Gothic literature. Gothic literature first appeared in the late 18th centuries in England during the Romantic period. It was influenced by big changes like the Industrial Revolution and the rationality too. Due to that, writers were interested to write in the past, especially medieval times. And also they were interested to write about the tensions between the old traditions and the new ones. However, Gothic literature wasn't just in England, it also appeared in America too. It appeared a little bit later because it appeared in the 19th earlier century. It was shaped by the country's history, also it was shaped by the post-revolution identity that was reflected in America, and some writers focused their literature on local landscapes and psychological themes. In British Gothic tradition, the stories usually took places in medieval castles and ruins, and also they implemented some characters that represented the supernatural, and they introduced some topics like family curses too. Additionally, they introduced the fear of the unknown, that it's something that really characterizes every single part of Gothic literature, since the British one to the American one. Now talking about the category of otherness, let's mention Mary Shelley and the novel Frankenstein, who was one of her most important works that she wrote. There, she shows how the creature represents otherness when society rejects him because of his appearance, and well, even though he is intelligent and sensitive too, people reject him. So basically, the monster shows how difference could provoke fear, exclusion, and the prejudice of society during that time. Now, in American Gothic, the tradition changed a little. Instead of castles, writers implemented American landscapes, lonely houses, and the isolation as a deep feeling. The focus was more on psychology. So, for example, Edgar Allan Poe and his poem The Raven, he shows otherness through the narrator isolation, and the fear of the unknown also. Analyzing the poem, the raven itself represents the unknown and the mysteries too, showing that the narrator's fear and what is different from him. Analyzing very well the topic of a raven, we notice that it's a little bit supernatural that the raven can speak, and that's something that it's really unknown for everybody. So Poe wants to implement these kind of supernatural things even in a poem, even knowing that it can cause fear in people too. Now, talking about another work of Poe, let's mention The Telltale Heart. Otherness appeared as the obsession of the narrator with the eye of the old man. So the eye makes that the old man seems a little bit strange and also threatening, that it's something that makes like goes out of his mind, of the narrator. I mean, the narrator gets crazy once he sees the eye of that man. So it shows like the weakness that the author has and how his mind can be controlled by the macabre, and obviously kills that man because of that obsession that he had with his eye. So he let his deep emotions get power over him, and practically, well, during this tale, Poe wants to show like the fear, obviously the isolation, in practically the obsession that the people can have with something as simple as a simple eye. So in both cases, the idea of otherness is very strong. On the one hand, we have the Britain one, where it is shown through the monster, in this case Frankenstein, as an outsider. On the other hand, in American Gothic literature, that's represented through the psychological and the social decay. That's the reason why Gothic literature is not just about fear, but also about confronting and what's strange, and also adapt it to the literature as something that it's new and that can be against society too.